wrong time. Thank you. I'll do it in a minute. Good morning and welcome to the Hawaii State Ethics Commission. It is April 15th and the time is now 9:01. Can we have a roll call first?
Sure. Starting with, apologies. Commissioners, if you can please indicate your presence when your name is called, whether you're participating, and if you are participating remotely, state whether anyone else is present with you at your remote location. Commissioner Hong, are you present? And is there anyone else with you? You are on mute.
Can't hear. Robert, if you are alone, just give me a thumbs up. Thumbs up. There we go.
Okay. Right. Thank you. Recognizing that Commissioner Thielen and Commissioner Gray and Chair are present in the meeting room, and Commissioner Becker is excused. My name is Executive Director Harris. I'm present in the conference room. Joining remotely are Compliance Director Chang, Enforcement Director Campbell, Staff Attorneys Neufer, and Yi, and Computer Specialist Louis. Also, we have Investigator Jared Elster joining us. Even though this is an in-person meeting, please be aware that all meeting participants are being recorded on the digital record of the Zoom meeting, which will be posted to our website and used to create official minutes. Your continued participation is your implied consent to be part of the public record of this event. If you do not wish to be part of the public record, you should exit this meeting now. For any members of the public who will be joining us remotely, if the Commission's video conference connection is lost during the meeting, we will recess the meeting and reconvene after our connection is restored. Please check the Commission's website, ethics.hawaii.gov, for information about reconnecting to the meeting. If the meeting is continued to a later date or terminated, information about this will be posted on our website. Are there any members of the public joining us who would like to identify themselves at this time?
Okay, thank you very much. First order of business, consideration and approval of the minutes of March the 25th. Are there any corrections? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of March 15th, 2026. Moved by Commissioner Thielen, seconded by Commissioner. Is there any one in the audience or the public want to make a comment on the minutes? If not, roll call.
Commissioner Hong.
Aye.
Commissioner Thielen.
Aye.
Commissioner Becker. Apologies, he's excused. Commissioner Gray.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. No options, no objections. The motion is carried. Next, director's report.
Do you want to do a consideration of the March 25th executive session?
Let's see, consideration. Oh, we did. Thank you. I was a little remiss. We do have minutes for the March 25th executive session. I forgot all about that. Any comments from the? No, we can't have any comments from the audience because they weren't present. Any corrections? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the March 25th executive session minutes.
I so move.
Moved by Commissioner Thielen.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner
Gray.
Roll call.
Commissioner Hong.
Aye.
Commissioner Thielen.
Aye.
Commissioner Gray.
Aye.
Chair.
Chair votes aye. No objections. Motion is carried. Now let's go to the director's report.
If I can turn it over to Anita Chang, our compliance director.
Good morning, commissioners. Just a short update. Again, as a reminder, if you haven't already done so, to file your disclosures, staff can assist you with that process. The deadline to file is Monday, June 1. Staff is currently in the midst of assisting filers and answering questions, so it's pretty busy right now. assisting with continuing filers. And we'll start the process with the new board members as once we get the list of new confirmations. For the websites, just to kind of let the commissioners know, we made updates to the online complaint form, which was launched as of April 1st with a new landing page and new FAQs just to streamline the user experience and make the process a little bit more efficient for our administratively as well. So if there are any questions, I'll be glad to answer it.
Any questions from commissioners? Any questions from the audience? I want to thank you, Bonita, for maintaining our goal of 90%. Is that correct? Actually, you exceeded the goal of 90%. You want to try for 95?
No, I'll do my best. No one promises.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see, next on the agenda would be guidance, assignment statistics, I believe.
That's
I
me.
can turn
Morning.
that over.
Oops, sorry. Morning. So basically, you can see on page 18, we've closed 92 cases on the year, 101 received, so roughly closing out what has come in. So I think we're on track to just, process business appropriately. On page 19 and on is the enhanced statistical reporting. The first graph is the number of complaint open for the year. As of 4/9, so a little bit more than a single quarter, we have 108. So we're roughly on track for the complaints that we had from last year. So we should be around that 400 number for the year. The main question is staff has, Bonita and staff has revised the complaint form to try to cut out some of the no jurisdiction complaints and direct people appropriately and more efficiently. So we'll see if that leads to a reduction in the number of complaints. So that's something we're watching. On the next page, page 20, this is the complaint enhanced reporting. You can see that approximately half the complaints are outside jurisdiction. And then we are generally referring half of those, maybe a little under half of those, no jurisdiction complaints to other agencies. I think the number is generally higher than that, but I think this quarter we had a lot of complaints that were not really referable. Other than that, as is typical, we have a lot of fair treatment complaints, and then some of the other ones are, here and there. So that's generally that. And then finally, on page 21, we have the attorney of the day trends. As is typical, gifts and fair treatment are the bulk of the attorney day of the day inquiries that we're getting. Additionally, you can see at the bottom, 27 written summaries issued. So those are emails from staff describing, the law and the outcome and providing a written summary of the guidance, and then 2 more thorough guidance letters issued. Happy to answer any questions you folks may have, and we plan to do this sort of reporting quarterly.
No, thanks, Key. Good job. All of the ones that are reported and we said no jurisdiction, what's the bulk? I mean, why no jurisdiction? Out of curiosity.
A lot of it are people that are, there's 2 types. So there's lack of like jurisdiction because they're not a state employee or they're not a state lobbyist. So it's a county employee or it's a federal employee or something like that. So we'll confirm that that person is not a state employee, and then we'll refer them to the appropriate county or federal board, or agency. The second lack of jurisdiction is like someone's complaining about election law or this or that. It's a lack of substantive jurisdiction. So for those, we're also directing them to the appropriate board. A common example would be someone's complaining about, medical ethics involving a doctor. We're going to refer them to the DCCA licensing board, that sort of thing. Yeah.
That's good. So we're not shining them off, quote unquote, saying
No.
it's not us, go find.
No, we're trying to assist people to, point them in the right direction. And I would say in 90% of the cases, we're responding with a written email indicating where they can turn. Yeah.
Good. Before I ask for any questions from the commission and also the public, we do have someone in our audience here. Sir, would you like to introduce yourself
Sure.
and who you represent, if you represent anybody?
I'm happy to.
You
This
can
is my,
sit down, yeah.
I'm gonna stay, I'm just.
Oh, okay.
This is my first time attending one of these meetings. My name is Greg Nasakian, and I'm here as an individual, but I do serve as the president of the Kokua Council, which is an elder advocacy organization in the state since 1972. I'm the vice president of the Hawai'i Alliance for Retired Americans. I'm a former Waikiki neighborhood board member. I also serve on my condominium association's board, and I have very strong concerns with ethics issues in the state. I'm also a participating member, not a legislative member, but a participating member of the Good Government Caucus. And we meet regularly. So I'm very active with the state legislature. I testify often. I know committee hearings just wrapped on Friday. I'm here because I saw an agenda and I was very pleased to see that you had the ethics commission, ethics bills. I mean to say commission, the ethics bills and the campaign finance bills relating to good government. And so that's one of the reasons I'm here. And also because you have the media coverage, which is part of what's going on right now. We're waiting to hear back on the $35,000 potential bribe, which is taking too long. So I'm here for those agenda items.
Well, welcome. And if you have any questions as we go through the agenda, just raise your hand, or you can look me in the eye.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you
for letting me.
Thank you for doing this. Any questions from the commission, commissioners? Questions from the audience? If not, next.
Chair, if you don't mind, I can ask for your indulgence, just respectfully, again, just reminder that the reporting on page 20 and 21, which is the more comprehensive visual graph of complaints and attorney a day, is something new for this year. It's largely because we have a new case management system that allows us to track this information with a lot more detail and specificity. One of the changes that Key's helping spearhead is changing some of the fields that we have to more accurately reflect what happens to complaints as they are processed. So previously, we largely would say no jurisdiction or no lack of evidence. We are now essentially adding more where we're able to say no jurisdiction and refer to another agency to kind of more actively reflect that we are actively trying to get that person in the right spot. Typically, if we've received a complaint, that person has already been frustrated by an experience at another agency or another individual or something. And so we try as best we can to try to get them to a place we'll get them resolution as best we can. So we are trying to more accurately. So this isn't necessarily showing up quite yet, but in future reports, you should see a lot more of the granularity about where those cases are landing or not landing.
I think it's very good. That answers my question about, the complaint and we shine them off like, say, any comparisons, but we'll direct them in the right direction. It's a little frustrating going through the governmental system at times, or many times. Yeah, go ahead.
I have a question, on the chart, the second chart on page 20, you've got two, bars. One is no jurisdiction referred to other agency, 21 cases. And then I think it's one that's been referred to other agency. What is the distinction between the two?
So referred to other agency. Oh, sorry. Do you want to go, Robert, or do you want me to? Okay,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
So there are cases where we do have jurisdiction, but that sometimes an agency is in a better position to take action, specifically related to like human resources issues. Sometimes we get complaints about inappropriate use of a state vehicle, and those types of matters are best resolved by the agency first. So there are unique situations where we may have jurisdiction, and then we may contact the agency and say, hey, we recommend that you take a look at this. So we're referring it to you first. Yeah.
So for example, in a case of a use of a state vehicle, that employee may have permission to use a vehicle in a certain way, and that's a part of the agency's policies. And for us to dig into that may be tricky, and it may be easier for somebody to refer to agency as a matter of first impression. to let them investigate to see if they think a violation happens. And typically in that case, we ask if there is a problem or a violation, please come back to us and let us know. But we'll essentially just refer the facts, a matter over the agency and let them process.
We'll do the initial legwork and make sure that it's a state vehicle. We'll look at the license plate, do all that stuff, and then we're gonna point it in the right direction, basically. Yeah.
Okay, any other questions from the, yeah, go ahead.
Just going into the no jurisdiction again, then if it's no jurisdiction, you're giving them advice where to go?
For the no jurisdiction tab, so generally we are. So the no jurisdiction tab though is not. So that's just us notifying them that there's no jurisdiction, and a decent amount of complaints are anonymous, literally no contact information. So, if we get an anonymous complaint, we can't, tell them, we can't provide them a referral or tell them where to go. So I would say it's a combination of some complaints literally not being referable. The matter is just inappropriate to be referred. And then some complaints are just anonymous. Yeah.
Do you think you could break these out more on a chart in the future?
Sure.
So guidance would be, I'd be really interested to see what is being asked, and just in a general category, there are only 2 people on that.
Yeah, so these are complaints. So for the guidance, that's generally us closing the complaint out with some sort of written, hey, just a heads up, like we don't think this is a violation and we don't intend to take further administrative action, but you may want to be aware of these types of concerns. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Thank you, Drew.
No, not at all.
We are certainly trying to provide more granularity, Commissioner. However, I had also kind of flagged one of the things that we have to be careful about is our investigations and advice are confidential by law. So we have to be careful about providing too much information publicly that may reveal the underlying complaint or advice. So we're trying to create as much transparency as we can. Again, but also trying to ensure people who are whistleblowers or looking for advice are able to keep those inquiries confidential.
Yes, you have a question?
Could I interject something just on what you were saying? Could you do that in executive session? So that your board can hear the concerns that way? That would be an opportunity.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Well, it wasn't a question, it was just interjecting the thought of doing that, what you were just discussing in executive session. It's the concern I have too when I want to find out information about what's going on. Like if I've reached out to OIP, Office of Information Practices for concerns of issues on certain things. That's my experience. I haven't reached out yet to the Ethics Commission. I plan to in the future. And if I call your office, I would like to know that my complaint is addressed properly. But for this board, if you're not getting all of the details behind what the complaints are, it makes it difficult for you to assess also how the process is going. So that's what I'm seeing from this discussion that one of the board members is asking.
You want to address that?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. It's a great question. The commission also meets an adjudicatory session, which is not a sunshine meeting. We go through all the complaints as well. So this is largely more for public transparency to be able to show we are receiving a certain number of cases. What are we doing with them? How long is it taking us to process them? So a lot of this is more trying to be as transparent about the activities while also protecting the individual facts of that case or that complaint. We do average hundreds of requests for advice and hundreds of complaints. So, the commission doesn't necessarily get into the details of each and every one at those adjudicatory meetings because it would just take a really long time. However, we do provide all the underlying information. So if any of them at any point have a question, we can certainly dig more into it. But that's usually outside of the public view.
So to belay your fears or concerns, I should say, we commissioners are very well informed about every complaint. And that's in the adjudicatory session, which I'm sorry you're not invited.
Excellent. Okay. I don't want to know all of the details.
Thank you for the question.
Unless you'd like to serve on the
Yeah, thank you.
All right, moving right along, number 3.
So briefly, just on miscellaneous office projects and updates, we have provided a Q3 financial report. As a reminder, a bulk of our budget goes to either salaries or to rent, and those things are relatively fixed costs that don't necessarily change. And so those are all sort of well within track on our budget. There are some higher subscription fees and other things that are reflected in our Q3 financial report, but we're largely on track on budget or a little bit under. So I don't know if there's anything particularly to flag or notice. Another thing I just like to disclose that you may hear more information about soon. One of our tremendous, amazing, wonderful staff is going to be leaving us. Lynn, who is our secretary, who is extraordinary. I cannot express enough about how wonderful she's been. She's been with us for 10 years, and she helps handle inquiries and questions that come in, but she also manages all the Sunshine folder, the adjudicatory folder. She handles a lot of the litigation prep, and she has paralegal training, and she's really worked her way up through the commission, starting first from someone who just handled inquiries and then sort of has taken over a lot of the central running of the commission's activities. So it's a true loss. Happy news is expecting, and she's taking time off to be with the child. So wonderful news for her, sad news for us, but I may be sending out some notice to you guys asking for ways to appreciate.
She's coming back, or she's gonna permanently be coming?
She is leaving, and she's gonna be a stay-at-home mom for the foreseeable future.
Oh. Used to be 3 months,
Well,
but she said no.
those are it's her decision, but it is our loss. We have been training Melissa to take over a lot of the responsibilities that Lynn is doing. And so hopefully we'll have a fairly seamless transition. Melissa is obviously extraordinarily talented and capable as well. And then we'll probably be hiring sometime in the next month or so to fill the vacancy as well. So
I'd like to thank Lynn personally. She was a very big help to me as the chair. Any other comments?
Yeah, I'd appreciate if we could send her a letter of recognition from the commission.
Boy,
Just off the subject of Lynn, sorry. Just a question on the budget. On a quarterly basis, it looks like the rent changes. Is there a particular reason? Is it because the month is short, or?
as a part of our rent, we are allowed to prepay and we get some discounts. And so we do prepay 2 months in advance. And so sometimes that is going to hit differently in the
So
quarter.
the first quarter had been prepaid.
Correct. And in addition, we pay a fairly high part of our rent is actually just the overall building expenses, which is it varies depending on sort of what's happening. Almost inevitably goes up, but that is a big chunk of what we pay.
Thank you.
Sure.
I got a question on the budget too. Is it included the renovation and after the flood?
No, so for the public's knowledge, we did have a leak in our kitchen, which flooded almost the entirety of our office and office suites and flooded several other floors. To date, that has been paid as the state insures itself. And we have a risk management system that has so far to date, as far as I'm aware, been paying for those costs.
Okay, so it's not coming out of our budget.
It has not come out of our budget so far.
All right, any other questions for commissioners, public? Okay, next, item number 4, media reports.
So thank you. As a reminder, this is a standing item that we have each month, which allows us to discuss recent media reports since the last meeting 3 weeks ago, as well as general reports on ethics in general. There has not been as much this month as previous, although there has been a op-ed by Judge Foley on the investigation of the $35,000 that purportedly a legislator accepted. There was also a brief mention of Civil Beat Sunshine blog, also about the $35,000 investigation. There's a Hawai'i News Now reporting the Campaign Spending Commission's investigation. And then there has been a brief mention of Senate Bill 2246, which is talking about financial disclosures of legislators, one of our bills. With that, turn it over for.
Any questions for the commission? Any from the public? Okay, let's see the next item, legislative matters.
So commissioners, there is a list of the various bills that we have been active and testifying on in your agenda. I would like to particularly flag that nearly the entirety of our package is now moving to conference committee, specifically SB 2245, which would create new standards for pre-employment restrictions, and it expands the post-employment restrictions. That's been sent to conference committee. SB 2246, which expands the public financial disclosure requirements and clarifies the legislator financial disclosure requirements, has gone to conference committee. Portions of another bill that we had introduced has been included or incorporated to SB 2246. So now it sort of includes two bills worth of information. A bill that was near and dear to Commissioner Thielen's heart, SB 2247, which is a restriction on executive fundraising, is now conference committee. SB 2248.
Can you just go over that amendment to that bill again?
Well, the amendment that happened.
Yeah.
So they tried to add in additional language to indicate that the executive branch member was involved with contract or procurement decisions. I don't know if it was substantively added anything, but it's just trying to strengthen the rationale and the support to the law if there was ever a challenge to it. So I think it was on the whole a positive amendment.
So the House side did that and the Senate needs to agree?
Correct.
Okay.
I want to thank Commissioner Thielen for that initiative.
Thank you.
Terrific bill.
Yeah.
SB 2248, which about half of this bill was moved into SB 2246. It would have required financial disclosures be made public before confirmation. That part of it has been deferred. And then our nepotism bill has been deferred. So those are two, 1.5 bills, I'd say, that have been deferred. In addition, one of the bills that we were opposing, which is 1873, which would have removed the public financial disclosure requirement for the UH Board of Regents, has been deferred. On the whole, I think looking relatively good for the package, and happy to answer any questions you might have.
My understanding, I just saw from one of the senators, our bill in regards to legislative nepotism. I'm sorry, House legislative nepotism is dead.
Right.
Disappointed. That was my initiative, but maybe anyway, maybe I'll resurrect it another lifetime. Try twice. Any questions from the commissioners? From the audience? None? Okay. Next, anti-nepotism. As we speak. Is that yours? Is that correct?
No,
Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was part of the, where were we now? Oh,
I remember 6.
6, I'm sorry. We already went through those. Number 6, evaluation of the executive director and general counsel, Robert Harris, I believe. We need to stick to that, right? No, yes.
I believe you're deferring this to
Oh,
London.
yeah, we're gonna defer that. We weren't taking the action, just a matter of information. But it's just a matter of information. We're not taking any action, right?
Yes, I think there's indication on your script as to what to say. I think the recommendation was to extend the deadline just to give the commission more time. Because
Yeah,
this was
I believe the deadline was extended to the 22nd, is that correct?
Mhm.
And we're still
that-
waiting for some paperwork?
Yeah, and then I guess you're deferring it to the May meeting for the final discussion.
Okay. Any questions from the commissioners?
We don't need a motion or anything.
Do we need any motion or anything, Anita?
I think it may be useful just to kind of, for the record,
What kind of motion would you like us to make?
motion to defer final discussion, extend the deadlines and have the final discussions in the May meeting.
To the May meeting?
Mhm.
Okay. You heard that. Anybody would move?
I second.
Moved by Commissioner Thielen, seconded by Commissioner Gray. Any discussion? Any comments from the audience? Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Hall,
Aye.
Commissioner Thielen,
Aye.
Commissioner Gray,
Aye.
Chair.
Chair votes aye, no objections, motion is carried. I believe.
More announcement?
Yes, I just have one announcement. It's a sad but happy announcement. Anyway, this will probably be my last meeting to be on the Ethics Commission. I've been here going on my last year, 8 years. And the reason why is because the governor has appointed me to be one of the commissioners on a newly revised commission called the Hawaii Sister State International Partnership Commission. It consists of 5 commissioners. One commissioner is appointed by the Senate President. One commissioner is appointed by the Speaker of the House. The other one is appointed by East-West Center. And one from Oahu, I believe the governor appoints, and one at large, and I guess I'm the at-large appointee. I attended the first meeting, even though I was not confirmed yet. Well, I have to be confirmed by the Senate yesterday, and they said when they found out I was also on the Ethics Commission, they said I cannot be on 2 commissions at the same time. So anticipating that I have not antagonized any senator, I'm hopefully will be confirmed, going through a Senate committee, and then recommended to all of the senators as a whole. And I think this all is going to be done before the next meeting. So I thought I'd better just announce that as soon as I get confirmed, I will submit a formal letter of resignation. I do want to congratulate, I won't be premature, Robert, for being the next chair for the next
One meeting.
Yeah. Well, our tenures are coincide, so you'll be here longer than me. How's that? But again, I'll give you my swan song when I leave. When I get confirmed, I'll come back and say goodbye formally. So I'll offer my swan song.
Well, I
Any
think
questions?
we should appreciate your efforts.
Well, thank you. It's been my pleasure and honor to serve with such dedicated commissioners and staff and executive director. It's been a pleasure and an honor. Very professional. So I'm happy to be. I was happy to be on here. I used to tell everybody I was in a liquor commission, so I went from liquor to ethics. Now for a lawyer, that's a challenge. Anyway, thank you very much, everybody. Any other announcements? Commissioner Hong, any last minute? No?
No.
Commissioner Thielen?
I'll say.
Commissioner Good? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Moved by Commissioner Thielen,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Gray. I guess we have a roll call.
You can do it unanimously if you like.
Oh, okay. Any objections for adjourning? Not, it is now 9:36. Since there are no objections, meeting is adjourned. You want to take